I'm Jillian Weeks, and this is my video on net art for Perf 202. So what is net art? To put it simply, net art is art that uses the internet as the primary medium. This can look like a multitude of different things, like there's really no other guidelines. And art in this sect is actually kind of frequently disputed regarding like whether or not it required the internet to be what it is. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's a very wide range of art. So for my video, I'm just going to be exploring some net art that's on the internet. I went to this link that Dr. Morris gave us in Canvas, and it brings up a lot of different pieces of net art that you can interact with, which I think is really cool. I only opened the ones that could be ran in browser because I didn't want to download anything onto my computer. But this one specifically that I looked at first was my favorite that I looked at. It basically just spawned this configuration. I don't even really know how else to describe it or what it is, but there was a lot going on with it in terms of color and shape and movement, and you could interact with it by pressing various keys on your keyboard and whatnot, and different things happened, and I was like really enjoying exploring like what different buttons did on my computer. And at one point, I think right here, yeah, right here is when it showed you different angles of it, which I think is really cool because it's like a 3D model of something. Don't know what it is, but it was really fun to interact with. And this was, I think, a really cool example of net art that I found. So, this next installation of net art is another one I found on the link that Dr. Morris sent to us in Canvas. And I really liked this one. This one was very interactive and very colorful, which I think is just what I'm drawn to because I found it comparable to the last one in that way. And this one was essentially just experimenting with color and growth of like these quote unquote spores. Like you can just draw in the square and you can change the saturation and the color and a lot of different things. Like if you look at the side, those are all things that you can change and manipulate as you mess around with it. And this installation of net art, I think is net art because it needs the internet to be malleable like this and needs the internet to be interactive and for other people to use it. So I guess like that's what I would say makes it net art. But like I said, net art is actually pretty frequently disputed, I think. But I really enjoyed messing around with this one. It actually reminded me of those toy worm things that used to be really popular. I don't remember what they're called, but I will put a picture of one on the screen right here so you can see what I mean. But all in all, I really liked this one. It was very engaging, very colorful, and it was really fun to just kind of experiment with like what the creator of this made able to do on it. So, really cool. And yeah, once again, cool piece of net art that I really enjoyed playing around with. So then the last piece of net art that I explored was this one called Bonsai Net. I found it through the same website that I found the other two in, but it was very different. The premise was like growing your own bonsai tree. So I clicked on it and I decided to mess around with it. And you basically click those green dots to grow the branches. But then once you grow them a couple times, they have those white flowers at the top that have hyperlinks. And in a second, I'm going to explore the hyperlinks and like where they bring you. But it was really interesting because they bring you to like completely unrelated links that have nothing to do with each other, nothing to do with bonsai trees. They basically, I guess, prompt you to explore the internet. So this first website was like explorable explanations, and I looked at it a little bit. It's like an art website for like the integration of like art with play and education. It was really interesting. And then I grew the tree some more, and I went to another website in a second, which will be like the Wayback Machine, which allows you to like look at the internet from different years, which also really interesting. But it was really cool to see how like this is also net art and it's completely different from what we looked at. So this concludes my video. I really enjoyed being able to explore a few different types of net art. I think it'd be really interesting to talk further about like what makes these net art or like what makes them not net art. So all in all, really cool experience with making this video. Until next time, thanks and gig'em.